it's time for some FACEIT League playoffs. You know, and this is when the real magic happens. With NA Expert starting off tonight here. We're going to kick it off. You've got top 16 in NA Expert made it into playoffs. Here, let's just go ahead and pull up a bracket real quick. That is not my bracket. There you go. You got a lot of good games going on, and of course it's first round. You know, most likely to have the more one-sided matches. But Void Walker's Rock is definitely good one to keep an eye on. And then Jurassic Glitch Masters is going to be your 8th and 9th seeds. So that one should, you know, another one that could be close. But we're going to zoom in here on Giants taking on Deadlocked here tonight. This was a match that we had covered previously, at least, let's see, second to last week, relatively recently here. Deadlocked actually take the dub on that one. So despite this being like, you know, your number 5 seed versus your 12th seed, which, you know, would on paper feel like it could be pretty one-sided. This is a match that very recently went the way of Deadlocked. Deadlocked is one of New York Giants' 5 losses on the season. It's Giants' first year in FACEIT League, first season in FACEIT League, at least as a team. Let's see, lost to Colosseo in their opener. I mean, really, Glitch Masters and Deadlocked are the two that I'm looking at because they're the two that are a little bit further down here. And then they lose to Rotation, Ducklings, and Crosssoul. They get the dub over Crimsons, which is your 4th seeded team. Some definite peaks and valleys there, right? From New York Giants, where you take a win over the 11-5 team that's, you know, got slotted above you off of, you know, tiebreaker. Crimson still got that 4th slot, forcing Giants to play Deadlocked for the second time in, you know, what, 2 weeks? In a match in which Deadlocked took that 3-1. They were both 8-5 at that time, too. So that was their last win. And then Deadlocked lost the 2 games after that to go 9-7. Both of those two teams, both Deadlocked and Giants, entered with, you know, 3 games to go. Both had a dead even record. Deadlocked does get first ban, and have chosen Oasis here for map number 1. Everything is Oasis. But they finish in 5th and 12th, respectively, after Deadlocked wins that 3rd to last game. If they lose their 2 following games. It was a Brig and a Sim banned out. I think Deadlocked banned the Brig. I think I caught that out of the corner of my eye, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Deadlocked did ban the Brig. Oh, let's get to map 1.
5, 4, 3.
As I was saying, I mean, you don't really see a whole lot of Sim and Expert, but Giants want to go ahead and get it out of there. Perhaps, yeah, have made a read, perhaps some scouting. And the Deadlocked like to play that Sim. We are going to see Senator Slime come out on the Hazard. This feels very familiar. I believe this is very similar to what we saw first time around. Ooh, but Wavy with Stair Control. Able to grab an early pick, and Droid just holding court out here with some indomitable point presence, cornering Senator Slime, picking up first cap and finding that kill. So Giants in the Risa comp immediately finding success, and they were kind of plant their heels for this first fight. Coming back in. Not a whole lot to work with ult-wise. We do get the Tracer versus Genji duel. So Genji a lot more, you know, you play around this dash. The team needs to play around this cooldown. But, you know, it looks like right now they'll just hold the flank while Senator Slime's able to leap in and find a very important pick onto Wavy. So, I mean, another key cornerstone of the composition, this one of the Arisa comp. Oh, what a trade out of Senator Slime. Not what Deadlocked wanted to see. And I believe it was an energy jab there from Droid. Able to catch that kill. And so far, what a great start from Droid on this Arisa. We're looking at 70% counting on the board. You will have the Gray Goblin available here for Giants to help defend. That is going to be the Deadeye combined with the Terror Surge. Exo was trying to hold high ground, but uses a couple blinks. I mean, forced to use a couple blinks there early. All right, check out this amp. Make sure. Ooh, that was a lot of damage on the Senator Slime. Yeah, Wavy able to find that pick and gets Mimi Cutie Pie up at the top. Off the high ground with a beautiful amp matrix. Well-placed shots from Wavy. Picks up a third onto Cake Queen just as the Kitsune rushes here in the dying moments of this opening round. It's a 100-0 for the Giants to start things off.
Score 1-0. Ready for battle. Five, four, three, two, one. Round two. Capture the objective.
Yeah, what's funny about that is I even reached out to Senator Slime. You know, just kind of letting them know they were going to be on stream and stuff. They mentioned nothing about getting picked up by another org. You know, or that I should be using a different logo, different team name, none of that. Never, no, didn't hear a peep on any of that. Whoop. Pokes the great opener. Able to move it and clean off the duo, the Tracer Genji. Excuse me, the Trey Lucio. Yeah, the Genji comes out on top over the Tracer there in this first fight. We're going to get deadlocked with their first percentage. Or should I say Sakura? Which, by the way, I asked Senator Slimy, you know, if there was any thoughts on stream, how they were feeling, and all that stuff. The only response I got out of Senator Slime was, tell the Giants we're Cowboys fans. Oh, yep. Mecha, you know, should show it as the Cowboys try to fire down. Mecha wins out the duel despite Wavy having double damage through that. Although Mookie is able to collapse back. Cake Queen does have their own Ant Matrix. Senator Slime needs to live here, though. He's kind of stuck on the other side. LOS, the Baptiste there, both just ended up in a little bit of a difficult spot. Could be the flip coming through, but we're going to get an Ant Matrix. Pokes is able to trade out, too, and cut out a lot of the sustain. Finding Mookie through that is an enormous pick from Pokes. Cake Queen is able to hold on to this objective with that Ant Matrix. Droid and Wavy are forced to respect it without having a Baptiste to work with. Wavy with the flank. Didn't quite get picked up until too late, although Wavy can't secure the pick. Both Casses roll back down into the middle. Meanwhile, it's the Terra Surge from Senator Slime, putting so much pressure in towards that front line. Deadlock are forced back with that, even with the Immortality Field. Suffer a couple deaths, and Deadlocked are going to take this point to a 99. It's going to be right at the gut. Wavy's going to create some space with the Deadeye. Droid running in to try to follow up on it. Make good on that. Some chunky shots landing into Senator Slime. They're trying to back up. The Terror Surge is going to yank him back in. And the Terror Surge not only takes care of the Immortality Field, but got the Baptiste as well. Interesting little interaction there for this last opportunity, but Giants are able to find control. Deadlock coming back with a Beat Blade combo. Just a sound barrier on the other side to work with. This could be, look for a Deadeye to perhaps, pin Giants down, and then Deadlock to follow up with the sound barrier blade. It was a spear that caught Mech, so the Deadeye does fall flat. Matrix and to try to finish this off, but here comes the B-Blade. And immediately Wavy is caught. Beautiful dash. The sound barrier late there from Gloomy to save the Cassidy. And eventually all that shielding is cut through here from Pokes. OT bleeds down. Deadlock will force a round 3. We're headed to University. I mean, I have Sakura's, like, logos and stuff. From back when they played in NA. They played in NA for what, season 2? You know, back before they picked up the Hattori Zoro roster. And that's honestly what I thought you were referencing. I was like, I don't remember any of these players being on that roster, but I trust your judgment, Finny. That's what I thought you were referencing, because I was like, man, that was a long time ago. I don't remember what NA players, off the top of my head, it wasn't clicking. But now that you say it, it's like, yeah, no, that's not it. Yeah, makes a lot more sense now. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it for today's match. I appreciate the offer, though, Fendi. Okay, low ground rotation. Hallway picked up from Giants. A little bit easier to contest the point for the Orisa from that position. So you do get the rotation back down. Deadlocked, don't sit up on the high ground and try to force the high-risk jump. And to get a random screenshot to lock in there, sorry. Joy's able to force Senator Slime out. George is just holding on that back corner for now. It's actually Pokes who comes in with the touch. QT is getting harassed. Immortality Falcon comes out and saves them, but Pokes dies, trying to get into the back line. Did not see that dash, but did not find what they were looking for. Wanted the reset, couldn't get it. Ends up dying. The shots from Gloomy, and first cap goes over to the Giants. Good move from Droid, just kind of holding the ground. Saw Senator Slime try to push up, and just got forced all the way back out. This makes, you know, both Pokes and Mimi Cutie Pie move on to the point. Pokes ends up kind of trying to overextend and make something happen there. Ooh, I thought Slime was going down in the pit for sure. Ant Matrix buys a lot of time. Deadeye finds Mimi Cutie Pie. Oh, no. Hey, it's 2 ults invested in. You get the Lucio, but that's enough to force him to disengage here out of Deadlock. I actually need to take this phone call. I am so sorry. I'm just going to mute myself. Y'all enjoy some pauses. I am so sorry. Some important IRL stuff going on. I had to take that call. I apologize. We are going to get the Green Goblin here. This is a Genji Blade Terra Surge combo, and it's enough to find Mookie. You know, if you're gonna find any one person, the BAP is probably the most important. Either BAP or the Cass. All right, maybe opening up some space. Ooh, this puts Senator Slime in a bad spot. Droid tried to capitalize. Immortality Field, well placed there from Kate Queen. Oh, but what an Ant Matrix. Perfectly timed. The Javelin was already charged. Reared back as the window comes down. Oh, vicious counterpunch out of Giants. We are damn near tied up in percentage as the Giants grab control. They will extend their lead on the back of that. Terror Surge to D5, the Ant Matrix, love it. Yeah, just run in. Never mind trying to disengage from that. And at 95%, this forces a late beat out of Mimi Cutie Pie just to keep this going. Will not make it back to the point. We will not get a touch. And the Giants are able to hold on, close out University, and take the 1-0 lead here in your upper bracket round 1. I wasn't late in the transition. I don't know what you're talking about. That transition was perfect. Okay. That was what? That is the, what? It didn't give him a chance to ban. Oh, so like they picked a map and it immediately just went. It looks like Suravasa is the map of choice. Anyway, let's take a look at some stats. All right, what stands out in the scorecard? What are we looking at? What are we looking at? We're about 25-3. Incredible. Okay, we did have Orisa. Orisa for Deadlocked was banned out, and Kiri from New York Giants. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put us here. Send us in since they had to remake the lobby and stuff. I'll get that fixed for you as we kind of get in here. Okay, let's get it back to. Appreciate your patience, friends. Allegro FPS, thank you for the follow.
Initial flashpoint. Mark it.
Droid on the Junker Queen. Does not have a lot of health to contend with here. It's going to be very bursty. That's going to be the shout in. Needs to find value on it immediately. He's going to try to just put all that aggression right at Senator Slime, but they just popped the Nemesis form. Keep their hands up. And they're able to kind of just stabilize on this point. We do get Droid pushing forward. A risky move that has the shout to play with. Both teams are kind of dancing. Oh, Pokes finds opening kills. Able to win the duel on the flank. This means Giants have to go now. There is really no other choice. Fortunately, they lose Wavy on that approach, and first cap and first fight will go over to Deadlocked. We do have the Mookie Moira. You don't see a whole lot of Moira. You know, good escape, I will say. But very bursty as far as the value that it provide. And of course, you do kind of have to be up close and personal, as opposed to a carry, Brig, even an honor where you can sit a lot farther away. So there you go. You see the result. As Mookie feels like they kind of have to get into the thick of things to find value, makes them easy pickings there for Senator Slime. So 72% now on the board for Deadlocked. That's the first time I've seen that glitch. I didn't have the problem at all for EMEA, just a tad, just so you know. That we did not encounter that glitch at all for matches earlier today. So hopefully it doesn't continue, although it did sound like South America was struggling with some of these. Coalescence as well as an OC thrown onto this point, 0.99 favoring Deadlock, but a couple of good picks from both of the aforementioned ultimates. Gives control back over to the New York Giants. They're going to take it away. They do lose Wavy in this process, but one thing about the Soj, gets back pretty quick. Oh shit, I don't have your outlines on. Oh my god. Actually, part of me kind of likes it without, I was noticing this. Part of me kind of likes it without outlines, because I feel like you see more of what the player is actually saying, like you don't know if somebody's hiding around that corner or not. But so much happening in Overwatch, and the positioning is too important as far as general knowledge of everybody. Droid fights 3. I can count. Good rampage. Ooh, they almost C9 this point. Smart play from Pokes just to force the threat on the objective, but there's the cleanup. That was very Monty Python of me. 1, 2, 5. 3, sir. 3. OC, Adamek from the front door. Good long sight lines. Gloomy's gonna go ahead and pop that sound barrier. Webby gets aggressive. Droid roads up, cuts them down with the carnage. Yeah, that was Droid getting aggressive. Webby's just sitting back here covering. Gets a 3-piece. New York Giants swinging this one from a 99-0 to Crab Market.
Next, Flashpoint Ruins.
Kind of a fake up towards main. You have a window to work with, and I think that was what they were trying to do. Kate Queen trying to catch everybody sleeping on the point, but rotation's good there from Giants. Gloomy goes very aggressive, though, particularly with an Ant Matrix out. Mech doesn't even need the double damage to find that kill. This is going to limit the retreat available, so it's going to be the OC and the Coalescence combined once again. Droid finding Mimi QT, and I believe that was an Ajax. Did not see that sound barrier from Mimi hit the battlefield. So with their hand forced by losing Gloomy first, Giants do a great job of just pressing the issue. Go right back on the attack to find the trades and find them in spades. You end up taking out the sound barrier from Mimi QT, and that is the big safety net that Deadlocked needed, set ablaze. Okay, Annihilation's just gonna enable a huge cycle on this point, but the Rampage hits first. Between Senator Slime struggling there, even with that Annihilation going. Droid's able to just leech so much health back off that Carnage, particularly with the heal orb. Bounced beautifully alongside Droid's trajectory. It looked like that orb was just honed in on Droid, and that health bar was going nowhere. Out-sustaining the Annihilation through that fight. 85% on the board for the Giants. Not very often you highlight a Mora orb, but I felt like that one was so worthy. And combined with the JQ health leech, right? Like, it just, that health bar it was on infinite sustain mode. So Pokes moves over to a Venture. And Slime goes to match the JQ. We actually get K-Queen matching the Mora as well. Back with an aggressive Deadeye, uses the roll too early. But does end up getting a kill on the Droid through that exchange. So a worthy trade, favoring Deadlocked, forcing Gloomy to invest in Sound Barrier to try to win this tankless fight for the Giants. Sound Barrier is invested in by Mimi QT, shot on the back of it, and there goes Senator Slime getting very aggressive. Hits the knife, lands the shots, Mookie's down. This is very low. Droid comes back to pick up the kill. Wavy has an OC. He's going to pop it immediately. Pokes has to burrow. Get the heck out of dodge. And EQT gets stuck up top. Pokes is able to return fire and picks up 2. But it's the last one standing. Giants will flip the point. These Mora comps are so fast, so trade heavy. So a little bit of the prowess of Pokes on display in that last fight. Oh, good push on the Droid. I think it was anticipating the Rampage. Everybody's low. Pokes got the Tectonic, pops it immediately. That catches Gloomy in the back line. Ooh, Wavy low, and the Emerge will catch him. 2 more shots left on the Tectonic. One of those 2 throw towards Droid. Flip for Deadlock. Mech is able to find Exo at the end. Nice late pick. This will extend the percentage. Huge Rampage. Picks up 3. Droid's, Senator Slime tried to respond, but Wavy just nails him with a railgun shot. So we'll get another flip. Ooh, Beck tries to go ahead and invest the pulse in that. It did not land. Yeah, the mirror of this comp is particularly wild. Very fast. Very fast comp. Go on, shout. Shut use aggressively. Center Slime and Deadlocked face to face. We've got the Coalescence in play, though, when Kate Queen gets mowed down by EXO. And a significant sustained advantage for New York Giants with 2 points on the board, 99 on the field. EXO finds 2. They close out Palace in 3-0, what seemed like a very close Suravasa. The Giants will move up to match point after this one. Like, it felt close. When you get Deadlock go 99-0 on the first round, and Giants are able to just flip it all the way back to 199. This flashpoint in particular, this third flashpoint on Palace was super back and forth. You know, it didn't feel like any team really able to hold on to it conclusively. Nope. Yep, it screwed up. The bans, we didn't get bans. Yeah, so it went right from map pick to lineup being finalized. It just like skipped the bans. That's definitely a glitch. Master playoffs will start Friday. They're going to run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll have day 2 and day 3. Will be on main broadcast. Nope, it broke. I was curious if they got bans or something that happened behind the scenes, but no, it broke. How awesome are these G.I. Joe skins? Oh, they're so good. They're so good. All right, let's go look at some stats there for map 2. Once again, you're just getting robot in dominant form. Only 2 deaths there on that second map compared to 8 and 8 there from Senator Slime. So I'm trying to start in the neutrals were close, but ult usage was not. Yeah, fair, Spartan. I think that's a very good assessment. I think that's a very good assessment. And we see Deadlock trying to reverse to match, or trying to swap to match, right? Trying to mirror. So we had a recent ban last map from Deadlock, now banned out here from Giants. All right, let's head into Runasapi.
Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
There you go. Get y'all some gambas. Giants sticking with the strangeness that is this comp. the JQ Mora. So this is, again, looking for them to kind of all burst out simultaneously. Kind of combine shout, dash, and, you know, and the Moira sustain. And they're able to get in. 5 MEQT to even, I believe that was either an amp or, yeah, that was definitely an amp thrown in to kind of help run down MEQT. Exo Fights, too, they're kind of in the scrambling end of the fight. We're talking about kind of neutrals being even there on Suravasa, but that was a very clean first fight from Giants. They are able to kind of coalesce all of those important cooldowns into one. I was trying to think of a better word. You know, it was very obviously kind of a Moira-centric word, but, you know, you got the point. Cool skin, too, I will say. Cool skin. All right, keep an eye on Mac here. The village kind of burrs through that droid sustain. One of the advantages we see here in the cast. Obviously, it has to be careful. That long range Wavy will have a distinct advantage of that. You see a charged rail loaded up on the other side of this truck. Kitsune rush thrown in here from, that's from Deadlocked, trying to push up this hill. Joy gets focused down. There is Mech with that extra damage, that consistent high damage output onto the JQ, and it's exactly how Deadlocked drew it up. Coalesce inside of Mookie. Ooh, well placed. Deadlock was kind of halfway down the hill. They weren't quite set yet. So really nice timing on that ambush, but the annihilation here, Deadlock has a little bit of a safety button. That extra sustain combined with the sound barriers enough to get a first pick. Once again, Droid is the focus of all of the fire coming out from Deadlock. Then they find the tank, first blood, second fight in a row. This is going to get them the lead and the checkpoint as well. Back-to-back fight wins from Deadlocked to take an early advantage here on Runasapi. You do have Beat Blade coming back in from Giants. That's how they're using that previous fight, so not much to finish this off. It's gonna be Wavy opening things up with the OC. He finds MEQT immediately and takes Mech out of Deadeye as well. Brilliant shot. Finds Cake Queen and Senator Slide. That's a 4K OC. Oh, Gloomy stills the ace, but Wavy with a spectacular showing there, putting the Sojourn back on the map. That was insane. They had a good argument for the Sojourn that is in this meta. Exo dashes in, immediately picks up MEQT. That's been the focus here. Oh, that slash was monstrous. Caught Mech and Cake Queen with both within the same simultaneous slash. It was like 3 slashes, got 2 kills. And that was after picking up that opener on MEQT. Still Deadlock, able to look for a recontest here before they get out the lead. That's the dash in from Pokes. You're going to get Sound Barrier out, and Pokes is just kind of back up the corner. Ooh, that's a dangerous move. Yeah, that's risky, Pete. And, you know, even though Pokes themselves doesn't die, that little bit of a misread leaves Senator Slime without the resources to survive the counterpunch. And it was just that one misstep, quite literally one misstep too far forward from Deadlocked. And the whole thing crumbles, as does their lead. Slime off of the Ramatra, goes into the JQ to match. They are sticking with the Lucio carry with this, though. They're not changing everything else like they did on Suravasa. Realize they have Droid caught. Droid returns fire. This can be set up for a mean rampage. You get somebody off. Oh, it's so late. Senator Slime is long dead by the time the music rings out. Pokes is going to get melted by the coal. Mech trying to find something on the way out. Got Mookie low. Could not find the secured kill, or could not secure the kill. Could not find the final blow. Whatever I'm trying to say. Reverse sweep looking less and less likely by the second. We crossed the 100-meter mark. Great boop. Mini QT gets the boop that leads into the kill on Droid. They don't make it out the window. They don't get any of that healing. And a much needed pressure release valve pressed there by Mimi QT and Deadlocked. As they look to get all the way up the hill and leads to the neutral. And they shout. Droid just now making it back into this, returning with a Rampage, Blade, and OC to work with. Only a Kitsune Rush counter. Blade is already out. Rampage. Nothing just killed Senator Slime. Senator Slime just dies to the Rampage immediately. I don't know if the Rampage even hit anything. To be perfectly honest. You do get 2 ults out for nothing. So as far as macro Deadlock, find themselves right back into it. Staying conservative on that previous fight. Now have a Kitsune Rush to work with here, but Ravi's OC. Got 4 the last one. Already had 1 good shot. Pokes is low. But it is the Genji from Giants who ends up watching a respawn timer. Now Deadlock 5v4 trying to push up the corner on the back of Slime's Rampage. Able to pick up 2 with that. Maybe even 3 with that. Good fight. Wavy will exact a toll. It's on the slowest target and one of the most important in mech. You get the kill on the carry and Kate Queen just swift steps back in. With this, you have to send Mimi QT back to Taxi, which means Kate Queen has to stay back and protect. And Deadlock are forced to kind of get minimal distance off the back of that fight win here in neutral territory. Mid-map. All right, Exo worked away into the back and good dash to regroup with the rest of the team. Pokes is going to pull off the blade. Gloomy Sound Barrier, though, perfectly timed. Able to really dole that blade out. That is double support ult choose. Gloomy gets popped after the fact. Droid separated. 5v3 here from Deadlock. Catches Wavy and die on cart call out of Giants. Oh, what a knife. Fortunately for Deadlock, Slime had the shout. Just has to use that defensively. Whoops. Random screenshot to lock in. But now you have to wait out that cooldown. I mean, it's still another 5 seconds. You've kind of an awkward spot, trying to hide around the Picaronis. Kitsune Rush now thrown in. The shout forward. Good disengage. Giants just loop into the small house here. No casualties. Really nicely played. The pull in. Slime's gone. Oh, Neil. Beautiful counter punch. As I turned Minnesota there for a second. I don't know what that was about. Droid's going to fly 3 here in this fight. It wasn't 4. It was 4 for Droid. So less than 40 seconds. Kind of a must-win situation, but, a fight win here would put Deadlock within reach of that lead. So it's not an extreme uphill climb, but still a bit of one, and Mimi QT's gonna get popped! That's not what you wanted! Sound Barrier's gonna go back into spawn. Susan used to protect against the back end of this, but Senator Slime ends up left alone. And Giants are gonna grab a fight win, investing the Coalescence there to secure it at the end.
10 seconds remaining.
Ah! Get me around the corner. There's the touch. Mimi QT will just get absolutely destroyed. Senator Slime goes down, and this is looking like a Giants 3-0. We will get a touch at the end. Mech is able to find a kill on Namuki. We're not quite done here yet. Pokes has Blade as well, with Mech having 2 kills already on the board. Exo's able to pick up 1. It's just Pokes left. There's the return. Mimi Q2 has to hang on, but Cutie Pie will not. A desperate attempt. Valiant one at that. But at the end, Giants will close it out. into 3-0 here is they will move on into your upper bracket quarterfinals. This is a double elim bracket. Deadlocked are not out yet. You and I appreciate the raid, although you're catching literally the play of the game of the last map. But I appreciate it nevertheless. Let me get that point on the board. Enormous damage output from Giants. Really, I'm forcing the swap. I think what it really stands out for me on both maps 2 and 3 isn't so much here on the scorecard. Although we do see, we do see Robot with most elims in that one. Silver damage behind EXO. EXO 27 and 4 with 10.3 damage. Slimes, I found jaywalking for the entire series. a little bit. What really stood out to me was kind of forcing that pace, right? And that's where you see Kirkle in chat talking about Senator Slime kind of getting caught out a little bit and kind of getting caught in the middle a little bit. I really think Giants did a good job of forcing the pace here today, something they were not able to do 2 weeks ago, last time these two teams met. Giants just ramped it up here in this one, and you end up kind of forcing Deadlocked to try to match the compositions, to try to match the speed, and it just doesn't work out. They don't seem as polished in these unusual compositions. So, I mean, very well played. Giants set the pace here. They set the tempo. They control the pace of this match. One of the things I've talked about that kind of transcends any title. The way to learn any game is you learn the flow of combat, and then you learn to control the combat. And that's what Giants did here today. They really controlled the flow of everything and the pace of everything here. Especially, specifically in maps 2 and 3. All right, that concludes an amazing night of matches. 5 map 5s. 5 map 5s. 3 map 5s. And 2 3-1s. We had, of our 8 matches, only 3 of them were 3 Overwatch, which is incredible for an upper bracket round 1. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate it would take us until, almost 2.5 hours to finish up all of our matches tonight. But man, I'm glad it did. Like, what an awesome night of matches. And thank y'all for hanging out with me. Robot saying y'all were very stubborn when you last faced Deadlock. What, just didn't really swap comps or something? Like, just kind of thought you could make the comp work and thought maybe it was an execution issue, when in reality, maybe just swapping your comp would have been the way to go? Is that kind of what you're saying there, Robot? They made it close on the Orisa mirrors, and then using your versatility helps you a lot. I think that's one of your big strengths. I think that's one of your big strengths from Giants.